Welcome back to the Northern Steel Podcast episode. Double Deuce, 22 in the books. Welcome. Chris.
Welcome. Normally I feel like I get a little bit of an introduction. But yes, hi, welcome to our podcast. The Najee number.
Starting off very strong already with lack of communication and delay, but here we are. We're excited. We just came back from the first week of preseason football. The Steelers squared off against the Seattle Seahawks. We've been waiting for them. We've been waiting to watch them play probably since, I don't know, the OTAs at least, from the hype that kept building and building.
Let's be honest. We've been waiting to see them play since we lost the following day of the Chiefs game. So,
I mean, yes, I have. But I also, like, when they lost that game, I was like, yeah, I need a break from football from how they performed this year.
And then a solid week passed, and we were like, let's get back to football, baby.
So let's dive into the highlights of Pittsburgh and Seattle game. I got it right here, and let's figure out what all the hype was all about. Well, for you listening at home on this Audible podcast, we'll dissect it the best we can. In the first quarter, you had Mitchell Trubisky and you had Anthony McFarland, and McFarland was running fast. He was running hard. He was juking people out. He was showing people he had the cojones. He might make the squad, Chris. What do you think?
No, honestly, I was very impressed with a lot of things regarding that play and how Anthony McFarland performed. He seemed a lot more comfortable running the football, and he actually got to the outside, which is something I feel like we don't do ever. So it was really nice to see. I feel like the line did a really good job with the run blocking. So overall, just very excited for what we saw in that first preseason game.
And Gunner making plays. You got open again. He's open again, and then he's open for the touchdown. Mitch Trubisky rolls out to the left, finds Gunner Oshleski wide open in the end zone. These white receivers from New England, is that a little racist? It might be, but this man gets open. And then the first team defense, they get on the field. Akilla Witherspoon, he makes a great hit. He does hurt his shoulder a little bit later. We also lose Carl Joseph for the season. That really hurts. He was having a really good camp. Then you got Geno Smith running around. He has no idea what to do. He's been here before. He's got Vietnam flashbacks with TJ Watt stripping him up. And then the GOAT Henry Mondeau takes him down. Steelers get the ball back. Mitch Trubisky, he steps and fires in. And you would like to see him complete those third downs. But that's okay. He had a good series with the first team. He really did.
He really did. It was a very promising series from what I saw on both first team offense and defense. And even going on this play right here, huge stop by Myles Jack as he goes in on a 3rd-and-1 play, sneaks into the line, a little slithery snake, and he gets in there and he definitely stops them, forcing a 4th down.
Then the Seattle punts the ball to 82. Who is this? Oh, he's running. He kind of looks like, who is this? Is this Antonio Brown? No, it is Steven Sims. All the way from Washington Commanders, he takes it to the opponent's 24. That's how you show people to make a roster. The camera decides to show a bunch of thotties in the stands, but that doesn't distract Mason Rudolph, baby. He gets girls all day, every day.
From what we're really here for. And that's what we expect.
Mason's first play, he gets sacked and he fumbles the ball. The Boo Birds come out. That is inappropriate. Steeler fans have got to be better. But look at this. He comes back, throws a rainbow pass to George Pickens. Pickens gets both feet down in the corner of the end zone. People want to say it's a great Rudolph pass. I say it's a great Pickens catch. This man is unstoppable. He is him.
Right in the breadbasket. Pickens makes an unbelievable catch. Gets his feet down. Beautiful play to be up 14-0.
The hype train is real. The first team Seattle offense comes back out, and they start to get the ball rolling. Spillane takes a horrible angle. The theme of the night was the middle linebackers just not remembering how to play football besides Myles Jack. And here's something from familiar sight. The Seattle Seahawks running the ball really well on our defense.
I was going to say, Seattle Seahawks figured it out fast to attack our middle linebacker core because we are atrocious. Thank you.
But Arthur Mallette makes a great stop to maybe to stall out the drive, hopefully. Gets him a loss of yardage, and then the Seattle kicker comes out. He makes an easy chip shot, and by easy, I mean super hard. This guy sucks. He hits it off the top post, and it just barely banks in. Now we got Mason Rudolph back onto the field. Is it still Mason? It sure is. How could you be so confused? He hands the ball off to Jaylen Warren? Who is this? Chris and Dominic have talked about him. Chris, tell me who this guy is.
Well, I know what a lot of people are thinking. They go, is that the muscle hamster himself, Doug Martin? Well, it really isn't. And I'll tell you who it is. It's Jaylen Warren, coming out of Oklahoma State, I think.
Yep.
The dude was absolutely on fire. He had a lot of great runs. He showed physicality, aggressiveness, elusiveness, other vices. He showed it all. It was very exciting to watch.
And he's got a chance to make the team. He had one fumble, and we'll talk about what he's doing to correct that later. But Mason Rudolph gets stalled out. He cannot put the ball into the end zone, but that's okay because he did have a touchdown earlier. All the quarterbacks ended up playing really well. Mason Rudolph does go over, I believe, 100 yards. I think he was 9 for 15, threw a touchdown. But right here, Seattle, with under a minute left to go in the second half, does drive down and get a touchdown. Not what you want to see from your defense, but hey, we got a bunch of scrubs out there trying to make the team. It is what it is. Then after the half, we got Drew Lock coming out here. Drew Lock, you remember him rapping on the Broncos sideline? So you know this guy is legit. He knows exactly what he's doing. We got some great tackling going on as they're trying to throw to 81. And what's this? We're stopped by an ad. Oh, stall.
Thank you. This is our sponsor of today's video, State Farm.
No. They're not paying us at all. I wish they were.
Oh, never mind.
No ad time for you.
Did I say Roger Rate?
Drew Lock came out. He said, "How dare you trade me to Seattle when there's nothing left for me? How dare you put me behind Geno Smith? Are you kidding me? Geno Smith, look at me go!" As he throws a fade to and it's broken up. You got the GOAT James Pierre. James Pierre said, "You got to earn that starting spot, boy. Not today, not in our house." And Drew Lock said, "Oh yeah? Well, watch this. On 3rd and goal, he takes the snap. He looks to the left. He fires an easy curl route right over Buddy Johnson. Buddy Johnson and Mark Robinson, they were absolutely getting smoked out there in the second half."
And Dom, I simply could not believe it because Buddy Johnson was definitely known for stopping the pass, especially against middle schoolers.
And finally, Kenny Pickett comes out here. The whole crowd, it's in the 3rd quarter of a preseason game. Kenny. He completes some dink and dunk passes and then fires it to Jaylen Warren, cousin of Willie Parker, for the touchdown. Great rollout throw to the right. He was driving down the whole field and they get the score. The whole crowd's going ballistic for Kenny Pickett. Then we line up for the 2-point conversion. What are we doing? Does Kenny Pickett got the stuff? Of course he does. Throwing it to Connor Hayward. Does he have a brother on the team? Who knows? Probably not important. This guy knows what he's doing. Where the stunned silence speaks loudly as we watch Seattle's run game just run all over this defense. Chris and I don't even know what to say. We're flabbergasted. We watched this for 17 straight weeks last year. But that doesn't matter. Kenny Pickett gets the ball back. Oh my God, he tears his rotator cuff right off. Kenny, are you okay, man? Get up, please. He's fine.
But Kenny is such a beast. He stands up and he reattaches it himself and he says, "Give me that ball."
There's some more.
And
Mark
then Seattle
Robinson
goes down and scores.
Yes, and again, Mark Robinson taking a terrible angle on a running back flat route and a horrible angle to the tackle, missing it completely. Drew Lock says, you can do a 2-point, Kenny? So can I. Throws it to the right, off his back foot. Easy touchdown to Travis Homer. Seattle's got it tied, 25-25, with 13 minutes left. Mitch is talking to people. We don't care about that, Mitch. We want to see some highlights, boy. Get the ball off. Who's returning it back here? Looks like Tyler Vaughn. He's got some room. He's making some plays. He gets up to the 30. Tyler Vaughn. Hopefully we'll see that name again. You never know, though. You never know.
Mitch, get off the screen. All right,
Please.
Here we are. Kenny hands it off, it looks like, to Mateo Durant, and he gets -2 yards. Definitely something great that we want to put in the highlight reel.
Yep, on a
Seattle has the
classic
ball
3rd
back.
and 1.
Wow.
And more classic Seattle running all over us. Buddy Johnson, Mark Robinson, the linebackers, out of place completely. Art Rooney can't believe it. There's 20 Art Rooney's. They all can't believe it. All on the screen. Drew Lock, he
Sometimes
gets the ball
it's
back,
hard to
takes
watch.
a snap. Oh, who gets him? None other than Hamilcar Rashed. Newly acquired linebacker, number 46, gets the sack. Seattle's forced to punt. What are they going to do? He punts it deep. This guy says, "Don't worry, I'm going to sneak him." Oh, does not pay off. This guy catches on the 2-yard line. He says, "Start right here, Kenny Pickett. Good luck to you, you scrub." Cam Hayward can't believe it. Kenny Pickett, they've been driving down the field, actually. Oh, there's a minute 22 left. It's 4th and 1. What's he doing? Throw the ball, Kenny! No, he's sacked. Oh, no. Seattle's going to get the ball in Pittsburgh territory with a minute 17 left. It's over. It's all over. But then Mark Robinson says...
Utter disbelief.
Wait, we're playing football. Oh, I know how to play that game. Bang! Gets him. Knocks a fumble out. And the Steelers get the ball back with a minute 10. Kenny gets another chance to be the hero. Can you believe it, Chris?
I cannot. This was the best day of my entire life in the preseason ever.
Tuzar skipper gets the fumble, and he gets cut 2 days later. Kenny Pickett fires it in 2nd and 2 to Tyler Vaughn. He makes the guy miss. He says, "Eat my dust," and dives in the end zone. Steelers win. Touchdown with 30 seconds left. Oh my goodness, Kenny. Kenny clutch. He's for real.
Oh, wait, it's not over because they got 3 seconds left. Seattle takes a snap. They throw a screen out to the side. He goes, oh, can't go here. He throws it back to Drew Lock. You're thinking, oh my gosh, what kind of a trick play is this? He throws it to the other side. This guy's like, I'm Doug Baldwin now. Oh my gosh, we got to keep going. I'm going to go up here and bam! He gets hit by a wrecking train. Mr. Carlos Davis himself.
Or Khalil. Is it Carlos? Who knows? It's one of the Davis brothers. Are they making the team? Also, who knows?
Who knows?
But that's how the game ends. 32 Steelers, 25 Seahawks. Kenny Pickett, 2 touchdowns, 13 for 15, 111 total yards. He had some rushes in there. That was very, very exciting preseason game.
Oh my gosh. It was everything that I wanted and more. Obviously, there's some people that I wanted to see that we obviously did not get to watch, but we don't have to talk about that right now.
Well, we can talk about that. Sure.
All right, fair enough.
Because now we're winding down. That was a fun little reviewing the highlights for you, for those of you who somehow missed the game. That was easily the most exciting preseason game of the weekend, not just because we're Steeler fans, but just overall the competitiveness. The Steelers quarterbacks were competing against each other, and they all did really well. Seattle had a quarterback competition, and Geno Smith faced our first-team defense, but Drew Lock was coming out on fire. He's really trying to make a case to try to win the starting job. That was back and forth nonstop. It really was. It was a fun game to watch.
I think it was a very highly anticipated game. There was a lot to watch and a lot to be excited for. In fact, I think it was you, or maybe I heard it elsewhere, but saying how the Seattle preseason game actually got higher ratings and more views than the entire MLB on that Saturday night.
Yeah. It got, just the entire Major League Baseball, like any game in Major League Baseball right now.
Crazy.
Even Yankees in Boston.
That's preseason, you know? But, like, it didn't even matter. You looked at that stand, especially when Kenny Pickett came out, and that looked like a home game, end of this season, like when, competition is tough, things are getting tight. Oh, my gosh, that, Acrisure Stadium was loud.
Man, good on you for calling Acrisure Stadium. Better man than me.
Dude, it really hurt. It really hurt, honestly. I'm trying my best here.
So let's dissect it, shall we? Let's pull it apart, put it back together, and talk about some good and some bad. So the very beginning of the game, first team offense, you have Mitch Trubisky, you have Anthony McFarland running the ball. Thank you for sneezing. That'll be bless you, by the way.
Thank you. Bless up.
Anthony McFarland running the ball. None of the starting receivers, obviously. Claypool was trying to work his way back from injury, and Deontay as well, I do believe, a minor injury. So the starting receivers were George Pickens and Gunnar Olszewski. And Mitch Trubisky with, not having Freiermuth, Najee, Claypool, Deontay, he drove down the field that first drive, and they scored, and they made that thing look easy.
Yeah. I was very, very impressed with all three guys. But, I mean, obviously, let's start with Mitchell Trubisky taking that first team reps to start off the preseason. He looked good. He looked comfortable. I mean, obviously, I think there was like a throw or two that, was a little off. But otherwise, that very first drive, he went down there and he scored a touchdown. And it seemed like he just looked natural back there. What are your thoughts on it?
I thought he looked very fluid, like you said, like natural. He, for a guy who's learning the first team offense, he seemed very calm. Mitch was, I'm pulling the stats now. Mitch was 4 for 7 for 63 yards, a 9-yard average, and a touchdown. He had the highest yard average for any of the quarterbacks. I know he only completed 4 passes, but he started off with a quick curl route to Pickens, made that look easy. Gunner just was getting open, which he's been doing all throughout training camp and continues to doing. Threw a couple passes to him. He threw a dart to Connor Hayward. Connor Hayward made a great grab, and his escapability was great too. Obviously, in the touchdown, he rolled out to the left and threw it to Gunner wide up in the end zone. And I don't remember if it was the first drive, but easily one of the either the first or the second, because he only played 2 drives. He almost got sacked as well and evaded that pressure really well. And I think he maybe ran. I don't think he threw it, but he ran for a couple yards. And it's just been nice to see. Big Ben used to do that all the time, so I'm not going to disrespect the GOAT like that. But we haven't had that in a while because he hasn't been able to move like that in the past. So it's nice to see a quarterback escape a sack like that.
It is so nice because I feel like we've gotten so comfortable with Ben, who is very immobile in his final years playing. So seeing him pull a young Ben-esque move, not only shedding a tackle, but also rushing for some yards, it was very exciting to watch.
Yep, man. Like we said, McFarland, he ran really well. Subbing in for Najee Harris. Benny Snell was also hurt. McFarland had 7 carries for 56 yards at an 8-yard average, which is exactly what you want to see. A lot of people, I know we talked before, and we've actually talked to some of you guys who've been on the podcast, who we've talked about the running back position. Everyone immediately started saying Mateo Durant or Jalen Warren to make the team, and I would kept telling you and to everyone else, why not McFarland? Because everyone would say, oh well, these guys are fast and shifty. Well, so's McFarland. We drafted him in the 4th round. That is his role. No. And his biggest knock was he could never play well in a game, and he got hurt too. And it was really exciting for me in a I told you so kind of way to watch him play so well and show off the shiftiness. And I think he could be a really stellar complementary back to Najee Harris.
Well, and that's something you and I have always talked about, or not. And I can't take the credit because it makes me sound like I have been on the Ant Mac train for a long time. But what I always felt would be a good compliment to Najee Harris, since he's kind of that bruiser every down back, would be someone with speed, someone with a lot of elusiveness. I think Najee's really good at being able to be elusive and break those tackles, but he needs those break. We need someone with that breakaway speed. And Anthony McFarland, he's fast. Seeing those first couple plays when he broke to that outside and he kind of shot a forward, I was like, dang, if there weren't people already upfield, this dude might have been gone.
Yeah, totally. And so I'm excited to see him keep performing well. I'm excited for the next game we have coming up to watch him and see how he performs there, because who knows where he'll be in the running back depth chart for that game. But I also want to talk about real quick, maybe a couple more things. I want to talk about Gunner, because Gunner was a guy even during training camp where I thought, maybe he loses out the wide receiver battle to Miles Boykin and Anthony Miller. Well, spoiler alert, Anthony Miller is now out for the season. We did not know at the time. At the time of the game, we found out that he got hurt the day before. Same with Calvin Austin, who also did not play. And he was not going to play in that game, and that really bummed me out because I heard he was doing so well. He had a rapport with Mitch. But Gunner came in, and he was just... Gunner had the most yards on the team. He had 3 catches for 47 yards with a 15-7 average. 1 touchdown, longest pass being that touchdown, a 25-yard pass. And he looked really solid. And I keep hearing good things about him since then. So I'm kind of getting more excited about a guy who I actually didn't really care about at all. I'm getting more and more excited about Gunner being on this team. Yeah.
And as you said today, that you've been hearing that he's been doing really well. Even today at training, at camp and everything, he was on fire. It seemed like he was always open. He was always making those plays. He was kind of like the go-to guy at practice today. And I totally agree with you. I feel like I did this too. He was very underlooked, especially in my mind. Is seeing all the added weapons that we got. Gunnar was definitely someone that was very low on my list. Not saying that he couldn't perform, just more of like, I wasn't as excited, and I definitely thought there was going to be talent above him as far as roster spots go. But
Right.
he did extremely well, especially that first week of the preseason. And he showed that he fit right in there with that offense. And I don't know, he might have built up some of that chemistry with Mitch, So that's pretty cool.
The pass blocking still left a lot to be desired. Obviously, the run blocking did pretty well because Anthony McFarland ran pretty well with that line. But the pass blocking wasn't great. Chuck's Corafor had a lot of shining moments in that. I think he's probably one of the best in the first team, at least on that Saturday game. He had a sweet pancake block. The only other pancake block came from our boy George Pickens on an earlier route, destroying somebody like he does. He's a monster. We'll get to him in just a second. Dan Moore was doing okay until Boy Mafe started doing some more finesse moves, and it looks like he's struggling with that. James Daniels did a lot worse than I thought he would do, unfortunately, so I'm hoping he can find a way to pick that up. I saw a not encouraging article, but I don't want to read too much into it until we see more game tape, I guess. Because I think everything right now is just kind of fast, hot take reactions, and I saw a really hot take that he is not the same player anymore. But I'm going to hold our reservations until I watch him more. But he unfortunately didn't do as good. Kendrick Green started at guard with Dotson being out, and he played horribly, unfortunately. I'm not a Kendrick Green hater, but I recognize he's not good. And we hope that when he played guard that he would be better. He's just too small, I think. I think he's just too small.
You know that trending video that's been going around with, what's his name, the Jordan Davis for Philadelphia, yes, where he's pushing back Juergens?
Yes.
That's almost exactly how it looked with Kendrick Green in the game. Like, the dude was just getting pushed around like crazy. It really didn't even seem like he stood a chance for most of his blocks, and it is disappointing, honestly.
Let's stay on offense. Let's talk about the second team players that kind of like we cared about with that. With Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph, he also looked good too. Mason Rudolph, the thing with him, which maybe you don't want to hear this as a Steeler fan, I think Mason Rudolph looks the best he's ever looked. I think he always has looked like nervous and scared in the pocket and like really jumpy and maybe took too much time to make a play. And he definitely looks a lot calmer and confident now. Now, I still don't think he is going to be the second string quarterback unless Kenny just really starts to stink it up here lately, which I don't see that happening. But he looked good. He was 9 for 15 for 93 yards, a 6.2 average, and 1 touchdown. Got sacked once. That first play that he went out there. He did have a couple of throws that could have been picked off. One of a miscommunication to Connor Hayward, where Connor stopped running and he wanted to keep going, and he threw it into double coverage. The guy dropped it. It was right in his hands. And then that third and goal play, he kind of threw into like some triple double coverage situation over there. But above all, I would say Mason played pretty well. He also obviously had the deep ball to our boy George Pickens, which, yes, the placement was good, and it was a good throw. I guess I'm more impressed with Pickens' catch, keeping his feet in, all because of how confident and calm he was. I personally, I just don't like the way Mason Rudolph throws a deep ball.
It looks awkward.
It does.
I feel like, he has everything that he throws is a rainbow. Let's just get that out there, right? Like, I feel like anytime he throws it deep, it's never a laser shot or anything like that. There always has to be the largest arch ever, and he just looks uncomfortable. It looks like he's trying to give himself a self hug at the end of it. Like that's his follow throw. He throws and then he's like, "Good job, Mason!" Like getting that endearment. So I don't know. I will say, I cannot deny Mason Rudolph did a hell of a job on Saturday night. I thought he played extremely well, and he kept his composure. Yeah, I have nothing bad really to say about him other than I just think he looks really awkward. But that's my own thing.
Just by like throwing mechanics, I guess. I mean, I thought this is the most comfortable he's looked in like a really long time.
Yeah, the throwing mechanics is what I meant.
Yeah. We'll talk about George Pickens right now because he did play first team, but he also played with Mason Rudolph. He had the touchdown for Mason. And Pickens, man, the hype, it really is real, I think. I think it is. He only had 3 catches. I think he only had 3 targets, actually. Oh, no, he had another target. He had a deep ball that wasn't not thrown very accurately. Maybe a couple, actually. However, the catches that Pickens did make, he just seems so confident and in control. He had, besides the touchdown, he also had a great body snag, like he caught on the sidelines and had a full control over his body and wheeled it out, and he just looked like, I do this all day long. Obviously, the pancake sack on Kobe Bryant and just threw him into the shadow realm. Like, that was really sweet to watch, too. And it's just really exciting because, not to get too much ahead of ourselves, but this dream that we have, Chris, of Deontay on one side, Pickens actually on the outside, and Claypool in the middle, I think is going to work out with Claypool in the slot.
Yeah.
Because Pickens looks like the real deal.
It is so exciting. I'm ready for it, man.
Jaylen Warren running with the second team. Jaylen Warren was looking real good. He had 6 carries for 34 yards at a 5.7 average. Not bad for an undrafted rookie.
Not at all, dude. He showed so much flash and finesse. I loved Jaylen Warren in that first game. He looked so good. And that touchdown, getting that reach over in the end zone. Man, that dude fights till the end. I love it.
Yeah, he does. And I'm excited to keep watching him play. Maybe a surprise from people who, before I started watching him play, I think a lot of people picked Mateo Durant to be the better undrafted free agent, just without watching them play yet, which is fine. I didn't know anything about him, so I didn't really pick one way or another. But Mateo Durant, in my opinion, I did not think he played very well. He had 2 carries for 4 yards for a 2-yard average. He got stuffed a lot. The best play he made was not even the play with the ball in his hands. It was probably illegal because I think it's the Hines Ward rule, but it was a crackback block on a linebacker on the Seattle Seahawks while Kenny Pickett was scrambling for a first down. That's probably the best play Mateo Durant made. And, I don't think he looked that great. I thought Master Teague ran the ball better than Mateo Durant, and Master Teague did. Oh, my
gosh, yes.
Unfortunately, Master Teague sustained an injury this week, and he is going to be out for a while. He was in a boot and some crutches. But Mateo Durant, I think, is outside looking in for a playoff, or for a roster spot, rather. And now let's go finally to... Oh, you know what? I want to say this real quick, too, because he kind of played some second string. I thought Miles Boykin played well, too. Miles Boykin had some strong hands on a catch from Mason, and if it wasn't for him, the quarterback had tight coverage on Miles Boykin, but Mason threw him a good ball in the end zone on a slant, and if Miles would have caught that, oh man, I think he'd be definitely locking up a potential spot. I'm excited to watch him play some more because that wide receiver battle we have in camp is really tough, and there's a bunch of good guys top to bottom, like Steven Sims.
Yeah. He's a good player. I really like his moves. He almost runs a lot like Antonio Brown. I'm not saying I'm not comparing him to Antonio Brown. I'm just saying that his mechanics look super similar, especially on that punt return. It's almost like, dude, is that AB returning this thing right now?
He did good on the jet sweep. He ran for a long ways. I couldn't help but think that if that was Calvin Austin, he could have been gone. But Steven Sims is still fast too. And those 2 plays, he didn't really get a chance to catch a ball. I think he caught one. Yeah, he caught one ball for 2 yards. So I don't even remember the ball he caught. But those 2 plays were huge, especially if you can make it special teams at least. That's definitely a way to make the team. And it was exciting to watch him play. And then finally, for the third string offense, you had the people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. I've never seen this during a preseason game. You had the people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was going nuts. The people on their feet. The crowd was for Kenny Pickett. Number 8, Kenny Pickett. Kenny was on fire at first. I think he went 11-11 before he had his first incompletion. Kenny Pickett was 13 for 15 for 95 yards, only a 6.3 average, and 2 touchdowns, 2 sacks for 17 yards. 132.6 rating. The highest quarterback rookie rating in preseason in 30 years. Is the hype real? I'm in it. I love it. I think it is.
I've been on the Pickett train for a long time. I do, I love Kenny Pickett. I think watching him was so fun and rewarding. Even aside from the passes, when he had to make a play with his feet, man looked good, dude. I mean, he looked really good.
He also avoided a sack and was able to run for a first down, just how Mitch did. And it was nice to see some mobile quarterback the way. I mean, his first touchdown, kind of like Mitch, just the other way, he was a rollout. So there's definitely some mobile plays in there. It definitely seemed like Kenny's playbook wasn't as open as probably Mitch's. He did a lot of dink and dunk down the field. But the thing I'll say with Kenny is he was, I felt like he commanded the field. Sure, it was dink and dunk down the field, but just watching him, he seemed composed. He didn't seem nervous. He knew what he wanted to do. He even scanned the field. He wasn't locking one receiver and just throwing it. He knew he would scan, he would see the coverage, and he knew where he wanted to go, and he would make the decisions, and he seemed just confident and ready to go. And that was like, through all the training camp, how he's gotten better and better each day. It's awesome that the game day was his best day. And he had like the best storybook ending for his first game, which was also fun.
That confidence that he showed everyone was probably my favorite part, right? Like, aside from the throws, the stats and everything, it's really awesome to see a rookie quarterback go in there, him do what he did in the way that he, drove a team down. And it was really comforting, and it gave me a lot of excitement for what's to come. I think if you had no idea who Kenny was, like you would have no idea that he was a rookie, because I just think he looked that good and comfortable out there. So it was awesome.
And to end the game with a game-winning touchdown was awesome. Crowd going crazy. I mean, I was pumped too. I was watching the game, and even like the game-winning touchdown was just very like storybook kind of. I know it's only preseason, but it was very kind of like storybook. I was just happy he made the pass because it was like a clear like field goal attempt. For sure, chip shot. They would have won the game that way regardless. But Tyler Vaughns made some good catches for Kenny, and he's also fighting for a roster spot. But yeah, Kenny got that confidence. He has sustained it throughout this week of training camp and has taken all second-team reps and some first-team reps in training camp this week.
Oh, yeah. Big things coming for Mr. Pickett.
Big things coming. And before we get to those big things coming, let's talk about the defensive side.
Sure.
Now, I don't want to go really, I guess, I don't know, we can go in order. I feel like it's going to be easier for me to remember them based on the list of the players I wanted to watch, I suppose. If we want to talk about first-team defense as a whole, missing TJ, Minka, Cam, and Larry, well, I assume Larry Ogunjobi would be first-team defense. They played pretty well at first for the first couple series.
Yeah.
With Witherspoon making some good tackles. He did hurt himself eventually, but Witherspoon making some good tackles. Miles Jack playing really, really well. The outside linebackers doing what they could, because Highsmith didn't play either, actually. He was injured. So the outside linebackers who we had doing what they could, but not really doing much. But I thought, regardless, they still played decently enough. They held Geno Smith to, 3 points for a long time. And I'm excited to see more of the whole unit together. I think we'll get to see that this week. But like we said, let's talk about Miles Jack, the only inside linebacker who played well in that play. And I think one thing we should talk about too is his best play, that 3rd-and-1 play, where he ripped under the tackle and got the guy. I think that was really exciting to see.
Yeah. Well, because that's the one thing that we missed all of last year. I don't know if there was a single 3rd and short like play last year that didn't result in a first down or probably a 20-yard run, realistically. Like,
right.
It was atrocious last season. And, that's something we always talked about with Devin Bush being like, we want him to be that guy to definitely like shoot the gaps, hit that hole and like stop the runner in his place. We haven't really had that since Shazier, probably.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was really cool to see Miles Jack do that.
But yeah.
Yeah, Vince Williams did a good job. I wish he would have stayed in the league a bit longer, but yeah, you know what I mean. As far as like a really solid all-around linebacker.
The unfortunate thing about that same play is how Devin Bush, unfortunately, we've been really trying to back him up, and he did not play good. That specific play on the 3rd and 1, he was waiting for, just like he did last year, kind of just like waiting and watching the play and waiting for the play to come to him. On a 3rd and 1 play, by the time that ball carrier comes to you, it's too late. They've got the first down, and you need to go and attack. You need to be more aggressive. There's a really awful play at one point where Devin Bush was in the hole, and he just stands there flat-footed, and the running back runs right by him. Devin Bush did not get a single tackle on the stat sheet, and that was tough because we're really hoping that him and Brian Flores can like really piece them together. But he had an interview. What was it, yesterday? I think, right?
Yeah.
He had an interview, and he said they asked him about if this is his last chance to play for the Steelers, and he said, "No, it's a business. I'll still be in the NFL anyways, so it doesn't matter." And
not my favorite response.
No, not at all. And it definitely seems like a guy who's checked out. Sure, maybe you can say he doesn't want to talk to the media because he hates them and he gets, he gets trashed a lot. But unlike Juju, when we defended Juju because he got trashed way too much, Juju made plays. The thing with Devin Bush is he's not making plays. So if you're mad about like being trashed, play better. I don't know what to say.
It was very disheartening to listen to his press conference and everything. He seemed unmotivated. I feel like to say something along the lines of, I don't know, I'm going to be in the NFL anyways, it just sounds like you're more so trying to be like, well, I'm going to be rich regardless, so it doesn't really matter where I play because I'm going to have money kind of a thing. Like, it seems like he's not playing to make a difference or to make an impact. He's just kind of like there. And he's not taking any of that constructiveness. Granted, I get it. Like if someone was constantly coming at you being like, wow, you're doing really bad, you're doing not bad, like, yeah, I'd probably be really tired of it too. And I probably wouldn't want to like, put all my time and energy into it. But at the same time, that should be so motivating, right? That should be like, okay, this is my time. This is like literally my year to put up and to show people why the Steelers moved up 10 spots to draft me, Like, that was such draft capital to go and get Devin Bush, and he was good. We literally talked about this morning, right? Like, his rookie year, he showed a lot of flashes, and we were like, wow, we're really excited for him. And then he got injured. He's been a completely different player ever since.
Yeah, it seems like his confidence is just shot. So, regardless of like the answer, I mean, the answer was probably the most disheartening thing, even more so than the way he played. But he still will be somebody that I will be watching for in this next game to hopefully can improve. Yeah. And hopefully, I don't know, like, Cam Hayward's a little bit older, so maybe he'll get a pass in the preseason. But if more players happen to play on the first team defense this upcoming week, maybe that will help him to like have more confidence and shoot in there. Who knows? Yeah. But I'm hoping that he can play better. Spillane actually didn't play any better either. But that's besides the point. Let's go through the draft class defensive guys. You have DeMarvin Leal. I was excited to watch him play. He didn't do bad by any means. He was pretty good in a 1v1 situations at the line. He almost had a sack. He got the hand on the quarterback, couldn't reel him in. But anytime it wasn't a 1v1 situation and he had more blockers on him, he wasn't able to shed it. And I would say, like, bad isn't the right term, but more like not non-existent, I guess. He
Sure.
didn't really do a whole lot. I'm sure he was there for like the potential fumble recovery, and Tuzar Skipper got it. But he didn't really do a whole lot. So I'm excited to watch him hopefully do some more this upcoming week. You also had Mark Robinson, who honestly was getting cooked all game. Like, good for him for getting the fumble recovery, but he was not playing well at all. Or the forced fumble, sorry, not even the fumble recovery, the forced fumble. I can keep going if you want me to. Let me just go through quicker.
Yeah, go for it.
Jannard Avery, he didn't play. You got DeMonte Kazi, safety. I thought he played really well, actually. I thought he played free safety with Minka being out, and he made some good hits. Like the players he made contact with, he gave him a good pop, and they weren't breaking free. It wasn't just like just a shoulder, because I hate those when they wrap up. It was like a good hit, but also a wrap up at the same time. He made some good hits. He made some good plays running downfield, and that's not even his strong suit. His strong suit's like picks. So that was like good to see as like a backup potentially.
He led the team in tackling for that game too, didn't he?
Good question. Let me look it up real quick.
I think he did. I have the stats right here. It looks like
no, he did not.
He had 5. It looks, but still,
Buddy Johnson had 7.
Yeah, but still, 5. He contributed.
Oh, totally. He totally, and I thought he looked good doing it too. Levi Wallace, I thought looked good. I didn't see him give up really a pass, but he had a couple good breaks on a couple screen plays. I thought he looked good, and like the short volume that he played in, I think they're trying to get other people to play, obviously cornerback, because we have some decisions to make there. Buddy Johnson, I just mentioned with 7 tackles, but that's kind of deceiving because I actually don't think Buddy Johnson played very well at all. He had one good like screen stop, but his 7 tackles were on running backs after they got like 12 yards already. I would really like to see our linebackers play a lot better than that. He was getting cooked over the middle, just like Mark Robinson was in the passing game, which I know makes sense because they're slower guys, but I'd really like to just see more from those two. And it's unfortunate that we lost my boy UG3 to an injury because they waived him, because I wanted to see him play. But it is what it is. Also from that draft class, you have Isaiah Loudermilk. Kind of same situation. He had a pass deflection, so that was good, but he was also kind of non-existent, just like DeMarvin Leal. I'd like to see him do more. Trey Norwood, he played really well.
Yes, he did. Yes, he really did.
He had there's a lot of balls targeted his way. He didn't give up a single reception. He made a great hit on a pass in the end zone to knock it loose. I thought he played exceptionally well. And he keeps playing well as a 7th round pick. he keeps doing well. Let's see. We also got Justin Lane. Justin Lane, I guess good or for bad. I didn't really notice him do anything bad, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for cornerback. But I didn't really notice much. Then you had Carlins Platel and Chris Steele, those cornerbacks who've been doing good in training camp. They were kind of getting burnt a lot. I didn't think they played very well, to be honest. Same with other people who you would think would play well, or you've heard maybe do well in training camp, like Delonte Scott, who played outside linebacker. He was non-existent. He was getting diced up by Abraham Lucas the whole first half. And that's pretty much it from that. It kind of like was weird I know a lot of our backups play defense, but I'm so more confident that our defense is going to be the better half of our team that I was like way more excited for how good our offense was compared to like our defense kind of did not play well. I know it was all the backups. I get that. They just there wasn't a lot to say with defense. They didn't, they gave a lot of points. They were pretty bad against the run.
I like to say that you and I do a pretty good job of like finding equally like offense and defense like exciting, but at the same time, there are so many offensive weapons and things that we were just looking for. And I feel like offense is just more naturally fun to pay attention to anyway. So I feel like it gets hard to like focus on that defensive plays and everything. Obviously, there are some flashes. So there's things that you remember. But yeah, no, I think ultimately watching the offense was very, very exciting this last preseason game.
Yeah, very much so. But I think that's a good testament to look forward to for this next week to see if the defense can bounce back and play a little bit better. This Saturday, just like last week, this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, but 6 p.m. for us, the Steelers will be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. I think that's actually a good test, depending on. I don't know who's gonna play. A part of me kind of hopes that TJ and Minka and Cam Hayward and Larry do play, even if it's just for a series, because if you didn't see, Jacksonville played the Browns last week. Deshaun Watson did horrible, which is awesome.
Bad. I love to see it.
You gotta love to see it. But Trevor Lawrence, he looked really good, and I expect the Jags to play better. I really do. He didn't look like superb, but he looked pretty good, especially compared to last year. He's got a lot more weapons to throw to. Travis Etienne was his first time playing in a game. He was making some cuts, making some moves, and Trevor Lawrence threw a touchdown, I think, on his first drive of that game, and then kind of stalled out. And then the Jags defense, obviously, I hope Deshaun Watson just kind of sucks all the time, but they're shutting him down. The Jags defense is looking pretty good. They've got some stars. They've had a lot of rookie picks that they've made over the years. And Trayvon Walker, the number 1 pick, has been disruptive in both preseason games he's played in. So look out, offensive line. That'll be a good thing to look out for with
Great
that.
Test, yeah,
and Josh Allen for the Jaguars to watch out for that. So I think, from a defensive side, a good test for Trevor Lawrence, who's supposed to be a very good quarterback eventually. Maybe if he's not right now, sure. I think he's only going to get better and better. I really do. I think
he's a high ceiling.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a good test for the defense. I hope first team defense can play, because I want to see them in full. I want to see them attack Travis Etienne and don't let them run all over you, and don't let them give big run plays. I want to see the linebacker, or I want to see whatever defensive scheme they do, shut down Trevor the best they can, whether it be through the air or through sacking him if TJ gets to play or not.
Yeah.
And because I don't think Highsmith is going to play. He's been injured still. So I would like to see them kind of be able to hold Trevor Lawrence the best they can with whatever first team defense they put out there.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. I was just going to say, it would be really awesome, even if you said full throttle, even if it was like one series. I think ideally I would love to just see like a really good and efficient 3-and-out. And then if they want to be done, they'd be done. But I'd be like, okay, so this defense is not messing around. Like, obviously we fixed up some things with the run game. Obviously we're shut down over here. Like, even if it's just that one series, I would be more than happy about that if it was like a quick 3-and-out.
Yep. So I would look for Devin Bush to hopefully play better in that game. I would look for Larry, if he's going to play at all. I don't know if he will. I'd look for him to see what possibly he can do. I'd look for our cornerbacks, Akello, if he comes back, and Levi to hopefully shut down, because Jaguars have a lot of receivers. They pay a lot of money for a bunch of guys. So I think that's going to be an exciting test for them. And after the first team offense, I can't really tell you who else they got, so I don't know if I really care at that point. As far as the offensive side, Jaguars got some good, like we just said, they have some good people to rush the line, so offensive line's got the work cut out for them. I don't know if Najee's going to play. He said today that he's going to play in a preseason game. I can't imagine it's going to be the last one. So I'm hoping it's kind of this one, and it'd be nice to see maybe what a first team offense can do. Mitch played so well last week with the first team offense, missing so many weapons, but this time he's gonna, I guarantee you, because they've been practicing more, Claypool's gonna play, Freiermuth is gonna play, and Deontay Johnson's gonna play. I am excited to see what he can do with some more weapons, and if that makes it even easier for him potentially.
Yeah, and seeing those players in the spots that we want to see them, like you were saying earlier, DJ Pickens on the outside with Claypool finally in the slot. I don't know, man. That could be a pretty scary offense.
That's definitely something to look at. I think Mitch will probably play. If I had to take a guess, I think he'll probably play, because it's supposed to be like the middle preseason game where they play the most. For sure the whole first quarter, maybe a little bit more. But for sure the whole first quarter, I would expect that. He might play almost the first half. After that, it sounds like Kenny Pickett, he ran all with the second team this week in training camp. He got some first team reps in training camp this week. He will be, Tomlin said today he's going to have an elevated role in training camp, in this preseason game. So he'll be running the second team, and I think that's exciting to look at how he does with the second team if he can still keep this train moving. I think the best thing Kenny can do is to not fold under this newer responsibility. I don't think he has in training camp. Sure, he maybe hasn't completed the 2-minute drill or what have you, but the thing with Kenny, man, is he's always learning. He's always trying to improve. And I think what's going to help his case out the best is when Kenny gets out there with the second team, is to still do what he did last week and just keep driving and moving the chains.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
That's going to be exciting to watch. And I'm also excited to see who his running back's going to be. Will it be Jaylen Warren with the second teams? Will it be Anthony McFarland if he is if Najee's playing? I'm not sure if he is. Or will it be Benny Snell? Because I think Benny Snell's back from his injury. Who will his receivers be? Will Pickens still be out there? I know they like him. I know he's a rookie, so you think maybe he should get the experience. But I also feel like they know what they have with Pickens, and they don't want to see him get hurt. So maybe he doesn't leave. Maybe they put Claypool out there more because maybe Claypool needs more work because he's been injured for a while. What was the post that I saw?
What was the post that I saw? It was like Pickens. How many series did he play last week? It was like, or he played like a quarter or something like that, or two quarters.
He came in the middle of the third, so it was like a quarter and a half.
Yeah, and I was just saying, like, nowhere ever do you see a rookie wide receiver not play as much just because he's already been so established by that team as we respect this guy. He's like the real deal. He's something like that. I think that's awesome. To literally already have this much faith and confidence in this young man to be let's get him out there a couple times, but then let's pull him after that. Dude, you're a rookie. You should be out there the whole time. But for him, he didn't,
Right. That's why I think it's exciting to think who is going to be his receivers. Oh, probably Gunner potentially, right? Gunner could be Kenny's receiver, could be Claypool, could be Pickens. I imagine he'll have Zach Gentry and Kevin Rader to throw to, but he's got a rapport with Connor Hayward, so maybe Connor might play some tight end with him too. I think it'll be exciting to see who plays with him. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, and is touching up on Connor Hayward. The dude had hands in the last game. He had some very impressive catches. I feel like he's definitely a dude who comes from Toontown but my God, he literally played so well, and I was like, dude, I was not expecting him to have such talent catching the ball and also being pretty quick too. I was very impressed with Connor Hayward.
And then after that will be Mason Rudolph, and then it'll be even though it was way more exciting to wait for Kenny because I wanted to watch him play. It's going to be kind of, truthfully, not to be a Mason hater. It is going to be a little less exciting to watch Mason go out there. However, with as good as Mason's been doing, with playing with the teammates around him that Kenny had last week, he should be playing as well as Kenny. And I think that's also a testament too, because there's two ways that could go, right? But I think both ways have the same result. He could really stink it up, and then he's solidified as a third team option, and then they might end up getting rid of him. Or he could play really well and put on a show, and then he's got 2 things of preseason tape over his belt, and I think he still gets traded, but his value is just decent. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Unless Kenny just really sucks, I think Mason's kind of getting pushed out the door little by little here. But still be interesting to see how he does against the Jaguars third and fourth strings, how he does with his own teammates. Kenny had to run around a little bit more. His pass blocking wasn't great. Mason doesn't really do that, so we'll see how he does with those situations. And then that could give a good chance for Tyler Vaughn's a chance to make the team. Jay Sternberger, who's had a good camp. Steven Sims again. It gives those guys a chance. So there'll still be some guys to watch that could still be exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And also, Presley Harvin will be punting now because they cut the punter last week, who punted in that game. So it'll be good to watch him. I heard he's been doing really good the past couple of days in training camp. But that is this weekend, this Saturday, Steelers and Jags. A lot to look forward to again as we inch ever closer to the NFL season. Well, Chris, before we wrap it up, I would like one more thing to talk about.
Sure. Give it to me.
Every week, or every year, I should say, the NFL does the NFL Top 100 list. And it's advertised to be voted by the players, which I don't necessarily think might be true. And they pick their top 100 players. And, when that list first came out, Chris, this show would be an hour long, and they would just do 10 spots. And it'd go on like all summer, kind of. Like 10 spots every week. And I feel like people are just kind of over it because this is the first time I've seen the episode go from 100 to 50 in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
So they may be kind of over it, which is fair because I am too. And I don't let top 100 stuff bother me. I know the disrespect for the Steelers is very real. So I'm not gonna read too much into it. I thought it would be kind of fun though to like look at some of these players where they're ranked and notice like how could they be ranked as high as they are. For a perfect example, in my opinion, and I'm gonna look up stats to prove my point, is David Montgomery at 98 for the Chicago Bears. The reason why I think that's kind of whack is because I personally don't think that Najee's going to make the list, which is a crime.
Yeah.
If he wasn't in the top, if he wasn't in 100 to 50, I don't think he's in the top 50. I would love for him to be. I don't think he is. I'd be very surprised.
No, the dude finished top 5 in so many rushing categories, and we're literally going to put David Montgomery ahead of him? That's blasphemous.
Yeah, potentially.
It's not happening. All right, okay. I can't say I know for sure, but like, it's not happening.
David Montgomery had 849 rushing yards for a 3.8 average, 7 touchdowns. And he's number 98 on the list? On the list? Let me look up the rushing yard leaders last year. There's no way there's like that many running backs ahead of them that they haven't even named yet.
No, because you have Jonathan Taylor, you have Nick Chubb, you have Joe Mixon, then you have Najee, I think at number 4.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook,
was he 5?
Antonio
Yeah.
Yep, Dalvin Cook, Antonio Gibson had 1,000, Ezekiel Elliott had 1,000, Elijah Mitchell had more than him in 963, Derrick Henry had more than him. He didn't even play for like 8 games. Damian Harris had more than him. Melvin Gordon had more than him. Javonte Williams had more than him. Javonte Williams not making the list. I don't know. David Montgomery at 98 is kind of weird.
It is weird. I just feel like it's more of a popularity pick than how he actually did in the season. And I didn't even know David Montgomery was that popular.
Right. And like even the next one, Leonard Williams at 97 is kind of whack, to be honest. Jimmy Ward at 96. And the reason why I say this one's weird too is because, again, I could be wrong. Maybe Najee ends up making the list. I also don't think Minka's making the list if he wasn't in the top. If he wasn't in the 150. And if you're going to put Jimmy Ward ahead of Minka, that's blasphemous. Because Justin Tucker's on the list.
Yeah, where's Chris Boswell? I mean, he's definitely in that top 50, but like, come on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, probably like number 3 or something.
Kyle Pitts is on the list, which I sure, but not the happiest about that.
Dude, I have such a hard time putting any rookies on a top 100 list. I mean, I think if they go absolutely off, then I'd be like, sure. Like, I think putting Jamar Chase on this list would make sense because of the year that he had. But it was also like,
going to be high.
Yeah, it was also earned. But also, like, I don't know if I can put him ahead of some other receivers because it's like, we're talking about the top 100 players in the NFL, like where you think they should go. And it's like, this is after 1 year that you've been in the NFL. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like sophomore slumps definitely are a thing. It could happen. I'm not saying it will, but it could happen.
Speaking of rookies making the list, Mac Jones made the list at 85. I don't know about that.
Blasphemous. What is this garbage? The Lego man himself made the list? Mac Jones.
Go ahead.
Oh, go for it. I was just going to say, Mac Jones. This is my time. I'm on my soapbox, all right? Mac Jones did not do a bad job. He definitely he played well for what he was given, and he actually took the Patriots back to the playoffs, which is great. But looking at how he performed overall, I can't say I'd put Kirk Cousins above him, and Kirk Cousins got 99. What was this garbage?
He did get 99. Justin Simmons, a safety for the Broncos. A lot of dumb analysts who don't know what they're talking about put above Minkah Fitzpatrick is at 81. Also gets me scared that Minkah's not on this list. You have Trey Hendrickson, who had 14 sacks last year, who went down in the rankings, which is ridiculous. Brian Burns at 76, who had 9 sacks. Like, what are you? Brian Burns had a Trey Hendrickson. Are you out of your mind? Like, this list makes Antoine Winfield is another safety on this list, ahead of Justin Simmons, who was potentially also ahead of Minkah. What? Cordero Patterson at 73? If Najee's not on this list, you're putting Cordero Patterson ahead of Najee Harris? Dude. Come on.
Yeah.
How's Cordero Patterson on this list? Oh, man, it's just Jalen. I mean, Jalen Waddle, another rookie. He did have 1,000 yards, so 60, that's not bad. I think 63 is a little high, but he did have 1,000 yards.
I feel like for all those stud or wide receivers that are going to be on this list, Jalen Waddle should definitely be like low end of this list, especially just for that rookie thing. I don't know. I'm fuming.
But yeah, that's just a couple names. I feel like if you do care about it, just because I understand the Steelers hate, I would love to see Najee on it. I'd love to see Minkah on it. I'm a little worried that they both won't make it. I'd love to see Deontay on it because Deontay should be ahead of Jalen Waddle. But I'm worried that none of those guys are going to make it, and the only ones that will be on there will be Cam Hayward, who will be way too high, like 40-something. And then TJ Watt, who will also be way too high after the year he just had. He'll probably be like, I think you said 11, which would piss me off.
Yeah,
he should be like realistically as high as 4 or 3.
With the year that he just had, if he is anything,
go ahead.
If he is anything like above, and I mean like a number higher than like 4, we riot. All right, I'm not even joking. NFL Network, if you can hear this podcast, and you're probably not listening to it right now, but like,
listen. Now's the time. Listen.
Yeah, this is my time to talk. All right, you are garbage. All right, and TJ Watt better be in that top 3 because he is a stud. And I swear to don't even give me if I see Myles Garrett anywhere near. If I see him anywhere near TJ Watt on this list,
It's on site.
I know where your address. I know your address, man. I'm coming for you.
It's
all right.
It's probably in LA, and we're there.
Okay, I don't know your address, but like I'm sure it's somewhere, and we're finding you.
And you're catching the hands, both of them. Two biscuits right to the schnoz.
Getting that 1-2 combo.
And that's
large
it.
fries. Oh, yep.
And that's it. And that's we'll see how that list goes. Again, it doesn't really matter, but I agree with Chris. I think Steelers just get disrespected. That's just what happens. But in conclusion, that was a lot to talk about this week. Lots of good things to talk about. Lots of positive things to talk about. I'm excited to see that hopefully continue this week against the Jags. And we'll see you next week for a review of that game and a preview of the last preseason game, plus some cuts and other things happening in practice. You have anything left to say, Chris?
I'm excited.
I thought you were going to say, again, it's on site if TJ Watt. Because
I just want to make it clear that if you do not take these threats seriously, there will be consequences.
Okay. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace out.